Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your lovely host, Isaac here. All right. So week two is officially in the books after the Eagles game. At Sunday, Vikings will play the LA Chargers for week three at noon at US Bank Stadium. So bear with me right now. I'm kind of a little bit frustrated after yesterday, basically. So, basically, in case you guys didn't know, as you can see, I am a Chicago Cubs fan. I've been a Cubs fan since 2013. And to put it, why I'm really frustrated, basically, is because the last three games the Cubs played against the Cincinnati Reds, and the Cubs were spotted 27 runs in three games. Now let that sink in. 27 runs in three games, and they could only win one. Just to put it there in context, they were only able to win one out of four or three. It was really excruciating and disgraceful to watch, basically, in my opinion. So I'm basically really, really frustrated after that series, but the show must go on, so bear with me. But hopefully, this will at least make me happy, at least. So we got the Vikings and the Chargers, so both teams 0-2 at that point. Kind of similar franchises, basically. So we will go ahead and go over some things the Vikings need to do to win. So, starting with things on offense, as far as looking at the Chargers defense, their defense is not so much good as of right now. They are ranked they have some good players. If you want to be worried about the edge rushers, which we have a good set of edge rushers, at least good enough. They have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on both ends. I feel like they should be able to I think Brian O'Neill and David Casenberry should be able to stop them on this time. So we'll see how that goes. As far as like and Eric Kendricks is not going to be in the game. He is out due to injury, so wish him well always, of course. And also they got not bad. They don't have a bad set of like secondary. They have, I believe, Derwin James Jr. for the Chargers, but here's the crazy thing. The Chargers on defense is ranked last right now. They gave up to basically Tua Tagovailoa and Ryan Tannehill. They got sliced and diced up by that offense. So let's see what the Vikings can do as far as like on offense. They need to fix the fumble issues. Because if you've seen the last two games, they fumbled the ball 6 times, seven turnovers included, which you could tell the Buccaneers game and the Eagles game, that was a one-score game. It was a one-score game on each of those games, and you could tell if those fumbles did not happen, the Vikings' worst case scenario would still be in the game, and they possibly still could have won that game if it weren't for those boneheaded and shooting themselves in the foot all over and over again. But here's the deal. Basically, the fumble issues, it's an easy fix for the Vikings. It's easy to fix those fumbles and not force as much as you can. Because leaving the points on the board is absolutely, because the margin of error on an NFL game is so small. So that cannot happen again. And also give Cousins more time because, we did sign Dalton Reisner, which is absolutely helping him. And hopefully, and I want Dalton Reisner to play right off the jump in place for Ed Ingram. Ezra Cleveland, I'm a little bit concerned about Ezra Cleveland. David Casenberry I thought he did fairly well against the Eagles. And then you got Austin Schlottman, I think he's pretty solid. As a Cleveland, meh, he's not great really. Brian O'Neill is still pretty good too. So you have an okay offense, and that's all that matters to me right now. Now, because giving Cousins time, you're going to have a lot of developing plays for each of these receivers to get open. They will get more time, so and then you're all set. Because let's be real, if Cousins has a lot of time, you're basically giving your offense a chance to make a play and make something happen for the offense to do. And speaking of that, the Vikings, they're going to have to rely on the passing game because I said before, the Chargers defense is dead last so far through the first two games on pass defense. So, because that's where their weakness is. So, you should have yourselves a day with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and maybe KJ Osborne could get a few reps here and there. You just need to rely on the passing game. I'm not saying you should abandon the run. You definitely should. But when it comes to a point where you're going to have to rely on the passing game only, you're going to have to do that, basically. But I hope the run game does better, though. But mainly rely on the passing game, which is the strength of this team. So you should be able to do so. Give Addison. And also another thing, you need to also give Jordan Addison the ball because it's clear as daylight that when Jordan Addison is given the ball, he made great home run plays because the thing that works about Addison is there's been if you look at those touchdowns by Jordan Addison, those home run plays, they are double covering and triple covering Justin Jefferson to make sure he doesn't get any catches. And that's absolutely what's helped about Jordan Addison. So I think Jordan Addison, he needs to get more because it's clear that he is the wide receiver 2 of this team than KJ Osborne by default right now. Because what really doesn't make sense to me is that KJ Osborne compared to Jordan Addison is plus 40 in snaps. I get that KJ Osborne, I get that he's a solid wide receiver too, but Jordan Addison has made less mistakes than KJ Osborne. Let's be honest. He's been a lot more reliable right now. So I think Jordan Addison needs to be wide receiver 2 from the jump. Aside from that, other than that, you should be able to put up points against the Chargers. As for the defense, the Chargers offense is actually really good. So basically Justin Herbert, who's absolutely been balling for the Chargers for this past years. They got a good set of running backs. Austin Eckler's not going to be there. Joshua Kelly, he is okay. He is average at best, which is what the Chargers want. He has 4.3 yards per carry so far this season. So basically, and also their weapons on offense are absolutely good too as well. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, they're pretty good as well. And they like using Austin Eckler as another receiver too as well. And all they need to do is just rely on Justin Herbert to be the gunslinger. So I expect the pass rush though to be there because the pass rush was damn good against the Eagles. So I expect the pass rush to be there, but what else they need, as far as like what they need to do, they need to expect the run because they're probably going to look at that if Brandon Staley wants to, they need to rely on the run. That's what I think. They need to expect the run because the Chargers are going to do that basically because they know they can't unless we stop them. So as long as you expect the run, they shouldn't be able to get off many yards, because if you do that on a consistent basis, they're not going to get anywhere. So they're gonna have to say, screw it, we're just gonna have to beat you with we're gonna open up the playbook and pass the ball. So they should expect the run, because it was not good against the Eagles. Let's be real. The Chargers, you're gonna have to do so. Force more turnovers. Theo Jackson had himself a nice turnover basically at one point, but I would basically say you need to force the turnovers pretty well with some great playmakers that you have, because the front field is just expecting the back end to make plays, which I need to see more from the secondary, which I think it will happen eventually. So we'll see what happens against the LA Chargers. As for like one more thing, this game, because what I think this game will determine how the outcome goes based on Kevin O'Connell and his coaching. So basically, it's just going to come down to that, whether the mistakes that you clean up, you calling better plays when it actually works. It's going to come down to basically if you want to win more. It certainly does. And so Kevin O'Connell, I mean, I absolutely love this dude. This dude, I think he can absolutely improve from his mistakes that he made against the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So I think this is going to be one of Kevin O'Connell's biggest games. It's an absolute must win for Kevin O'Connell. Otherwise, if you somehow find a way to lose the next two games against the Panthers or the Chargers, you're basically canceling the season. You're asking to cancel the season. Anyway, so those are my talking points for the Vikings versus the Chargers. My game prediction, I mean, it very well could be an offensive shootout, basically. Either way could go. It could either be a blowout, or one of two things would have happened: a shootout or a blowout for the Vikings. I think the Vikings, I expect them to win. I'm going to say it's an offensive shootout and the Vikings get it done. I'm going to say 31-24, Vikings win. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol.